Hello everyone and welcome back for the computer session once again. Dear students, today we are going to learn a very interesting lesson number 8, and that is Introduction to Visual Programming. So today basically we are going to learn how the softwares are made and which program is used in that, what is the role of visual programming and what is actually the visual programming. It's really very interesting lesson because you're going to learn the programming through this lesson. So please pay attention. So the points what we are going to cover are, first we will learn introduction, what is visual programming. Then we will learn these many points. First, VBNet program. Practically, you're going to learn one program. Then what is a basic graphical controls and properties of graphical controls. Then we'll learn variable and data types in VBNet. VBNet is a graphical software which is used for graphical programming, visual programming, right? So VB stands for Visual Basic and .NET is the extension of it. So VBNet, we are going to learn through this all concept through VBNet. Then 6th point, we will learn working with graphic controls. And 7th point and the last point, it's data type conversion and simple arithmetic. So altogether, these 7 points would be the mind-blowing points for you all. Please pay attention and learn it well so that you can get clear idea of how to make a program, and that is also graphical program. Right, dear students? Now, modern computer applications are developed on the concept called event-driven programming. So let's begin in the introduction so you will understand what is that. Okay. So basically nowadays, all the softwares and all the programs are based on event-driven programming, and this you can create with the help of VB.NET. So now one question might have arise in your mind, that is, what is event-driven programming? So let's understand by one example. Generally, whatever softwares and apps and programs are developed nowadays is based on a particular event. Event means what? A user, whoever using the software or the apps. For example, now you might have used the Swiggy app, right? So on Swiggy app, what we generally do, what is the process? We open the app and then we go to the particular dish, what we would like to. Here we can see this particular dish. We go to order a particular dish. Am I right? And then we select, we set our address and the location. And on that location also we check some offers, whether it is applicable for us. And finally we order, and after that we get that order delivered at our place. So these many steps we are doing. So each and every steps is called a particular event. We are selecting from the list a particular food, that is one event. Okay, that is one event. Then we are setting our address, that is also event. Then we are checking the offer and selecting the offer, that is also called an event. Then we order finally, that is also event. And when we receive a particular delivery, that is also an event. So the full process is a bundle of events or a sequence of event. Okay, and these events are responding according to our choice. Okay, because in the beginning, if you'll see here, we have the lots of dishes in the menu. From that we are selecting one. Okay, so selection event is there. So that event is graphically designed, which you can use by seeing and just you have to touch, and it's responding according to your action. Okay, that gets, once you clicked on a particular dish, it get added into the your order list. Once you completed the order list, then it goes to the second. So as per your steps, it's working. That is the beauty of this event driven programming. Based on the user's choice, it works. Okay, and we cannot predict only user will do these steps only. No, user can go for any dish. Am I right? So you can select any dish. Based on that dish, it should show the price, your bill, and delivery time and everything. So this is called event driven programming. I hope so you understood by this example. Am I right? So dear students, watch this till here again to understand what is event driven programming. And event driven programming is beautifully done in the Visual Basic, VBNet. It's a base software. Okay, Visual Basic has been a popular choice as programming language for those who wish to learn computer programming. It's a base choice for all the programmers, those who want to create a program. The objective of this chapter is use VBNet medium to teach basic programming approach to the students in easier and fun way. This lesson will be a little fun for you all. VBNet is a rich, powerful language, and converting it early is not the scope of the chapter, right? So here we are going to learn a different versions of VBNet. 6.0 we are going to introduce, then 2017. And what is a graphical event driven programming? What is a graphical with the picture? In simple, with the picture, if you are doing any event, means you are clicking on particular picture. So the actions taken by the computer with the help of a particular event, right? So that is called graphical event programming. So let's understand how this graphical event programming works. Okay. So it works like please look at the picture here, like graphical user interface. Okay. So user gives us input. First user gives input, then graphical, with the help of graphical user interface like Swiggy pictures, all the pictures are available. Then it get transmit to the programming language, then programming language processed on it, then its response to with the help of again graphical user interface. For example, you have selected one dish, then it responds you how the dish, what's the dish price in your cart. After that, it will give you the output, your bill amount and all, right? So this is called the graphical user interface, and this we are going to learn through this lesson. So let's go for the next point, the first program of VBNet. This is like introduction for this lesson, and now practically we are going to learn how to create the basic program and the first program of VBNet. I'm very excited to show you. Please watch it very carefully and practice it, right? So let's begin the practical work of it.
My first VB.NET program. Let's explore a simple event handling scenario. User will click on a button and a message is displayed. Here, clicking on the button is an event and displaying message is event handling. Opening Visual Studio, click on Start button and select Visual Studio 2017. Creating a new project. VB.NET treats a set of programs as a project. You need to create a project to begin working. On the Start page, click on Create New Project option. In New Project dialog box, go to Visual Basic section and select Windows Forms app. Give project name My First Program. Specify location where you wish to save your project and click OK. The interface will show three main parts. Visual Designer with the default form, Form 1. This form is the main window of your application. Form serves as a container of other controls in your program. Solution Explorer showing your project name and files. Properties window listing the properties and their values for the selected control. Toolbox. The graphical controls which make up your application interface are located in the toolbox. The controls are arranged in various categories like common controls. Depending on the requirement, you can drag a control from the toolbox to the form. Toolbox can be displayed either by pressing Ctrl plus Alt plus X or by selecting Toolbox option from View menu. Adding a graphical control to the form. A graphical control can be added onto the form in Design View. Let's add a button control to the form, Form 1. Click on the button control in the toolbox and drag it onto Form 1. Give adequate size to the button. Notice that since the button is selected, properties of the button are displayed in the Properties window. The name of the button is by default Button 1. You can scroll in the Properties panel and change the value of property name for this button to any name you like. But name property does not accept any value with a space. Change the value of the property text to click me. The text property shows the caption on the button. Next, we need to write the piece of code to display a message to the user on the click of this button. Double-click on the button, which will take you to the code editor. VB generates the basic event handling code for you. All you need to do is to write the specific statements for your program. To display message to the user where the cursor is blinking, type the following line of code exactly as follows. Messagebox.show vb.net is fun ! In double quotes with a parenthesis. Running vb.net program. To run the program, either press Ctrl plus F5 or open Debug menu and select Start without debugging option. Program will run and user will be displayed with a form containing the button with the text Click Me. Click on the button. The message you had coded will be displayed. Explanation. When we double-clicked on the button in the graphical editor, we were taken to the code editor where the basic program for button click was automatically generated. This is the way Visual Basic automatically binds the piece of code with the graphical component with which user will interact. In our program, whenever user clicks on the button, the click event is raised. In response to this event, the message vb.net is fun is displayed. How does our program come to know what to do when button 1 was clicked? Let's look at the code again. Sub-procedures and event handlers. Double-click on button 1 to go to the code editor. Notice the block private sub button 1 underscore click, which ends on end sub. Button 1 underscore click is a sub-procedure. A sub-procedure is a piece of code that runs as and when desired. Consider the name of the sub-procedure, button 1 underscore click. This is the combination of control name underscore event name. This pattern in VB binds the control with the event. Button 1 underscore click will execute when button 1 is clicked. A sub-procedure that executes in response to an event is called an event handler. Understanding message box object. VB.net provides an inbuilt object message box. It allows to display messages. By default, the message box shows an OK button. Message box object allows displaying message boxes in various other ways also. Some common ways are summarized below. Messagebox.show vb.net is fun ! In double quotes, welcome in double quotes. The second string is caption of the message box. Messagebox.show vb.net is fun ! In double quotes, welcome in double quotes, messagebox buttons. Yes, no. The third parameter is messagebox buttons object with a choice to display yes and no buttons. Messagebox buttons object. This object allows displaying various other buttons in the message box. We can specify these buttons by selecting appropriate choice while writing the code as shown here.
So dear students, this is the example of first program, how can we create and how the event-driven programming works. As we'll set the actions on the button as per the message will be displayed, right? So this is a small event. Generally, whenever we click on any program, it shows pop up some messages and we click OK or cancel. Such programs we can create with the help of this first event-driven programming. The structure already it is given in the book. Okay. So for practicing this, you need a vb.net to install in your computer. So install it. It is easy for you to install. and please practice this, right? So let's go for the further things to learn how and what. So the next thing we are going to learn basic graphical controls. So we have operated now the buttons and how this graphical control works. Which are those like label, text box, list, combo box, radio buttons, checkbox. Generally, when we want to take the inputs from the users, we are using these all graphical controls and it has their own role and own importance. So what are those roles and importance? Let's understand by this. Okay. So pay attention. So then only you will understand which control would be useful for you. Right, dear students? So watch it carefully.
Basic graphical controls. We have already seen basic graphical controls. We have already seen form control and button control. Let us learn about the following basic controls: label, text box, list, combo box, radio button, checkbox. Each of these controls have certain properties which we need to set in order to make their suitable use in our programs. Label and text box. The basic difference between a label and a text box is that a label is not editable, whereas user can type text in the text box. Label is suitable to display messages and captions. Text box is used to take user input. List and combo box. List allows the user to select value from the given choice. Combo box is a combo of list and text box. Users can select a value from the list of choices and also key in their own value. Radio button and checkbox. Radio buttons are suitable when user is allowed to select any one of the few given choices. For example, selecting the gender or specifying yes or no for any question, etc. Checkboxes allow the user to select multiple choices out of the given ones.
So dear students, these are the basic difference between all the graphical control which you are going to use, especially here, like radio buttons. You only can choose any one option from the given. Like multiple choice questions, you are appearing for the exam. So from multiple choice, one only the right answer. So one only you can choose, right? So that time also you can use. Here it is given the example of gender. Either you will be male or female. So any one option. We cannot tick both. But in case where you want the user to enter multiple things, okay, and they can tick or they can select multiple things, that time you can go for the checkbox. For example, your hobbies and interests, the list of hobbies and interests would be given. So your hobbies can be multiple things which you can choose. See, simple. Then there was the difference between label and text. So label will be only displaying the content where you can enter in the text box. You can type your data. So when we want to take the inputs from the users, please use text box. So they can type their name and their age. These are we can type for the text box. We can use the text box. Right, dear students? So just now we learn about the controls, VBNet controls, no, like buttons, label, text box. These are all basic controls. Sometimes we need to assign some task to it. For example, that is comes under the properties of it. For example, if you are using the button, okay, cancel, so that you want to label, right? You want to name it. So how can you change the name of it? Sometimes you want a different fonts for that. So how can you change the font of those buttons? Then it should be enable, disable. It should be visible, invisible. So these are all concepts. These all concepts comes under the properties. So with the help of these properties, you can change their name, color, background color, as well as visibility and enability. So these things you can change with the help of properties. So this control, all controls comes under the properties of some controlling tools. Am I right? Now, for example, what controls you can do for buttons? Buttons, you can change the text. Okay. what text you want to use. Suppose you want OK button, cancel button, okay, download button, process button, login button. So all these names you can apply with the help of text option in on the button. Then image, sometimes you need a pictures on that, so how can you change those pictures on the buttons, that you can use. Then text box you want, then that already some text is typed how you want. Combo box, radio box, check box, when you want to enter the check box, so with that options should appear, so those options you want to enter. Then check radio buttons, with the radio button what option should come, like we have checked just now, male female. So all these concepts are related in the controls. Okay, so now we are going to move to the next parts. Just now we what we learned, the properties means controls and their properties. Properties, with the help of properties, we can change their color, names, titles, and all this. Please keep it in mind. Now, next point, we are going to learn variables and data types in VB. This is the basic of the programming. So I want your attention on the screen, that so you can understand it well. Okay. So please pay attention. As I said to pay attention, please pay attention because this is a basic. First of all, when the users want to enter the details, for example, you got a login ID form. Okay, just a minute, I'll show you the picture so it would be more clear for you to understand. So now it would be easy for you to understand what is the data type and variable. Now, when we want to create a sign-in form, right? So here user will enter his name and will enter password and it will click on login button, right? So when user enter this username, so this is the data entered by user that we need to store in memory, and that is called variables. Okay, the short time memory which can change always, that is the called variable. So here we are going to use the variable. Okay, and also we need to know the data type. Okay, data type. So sometimes we enter the text here in user box, we will enter the text, sometime numbers. If it is login with mobile, then that time numbers. Here we are going to enter the passwords, right? So the data type can be changed, either it will be number, it will be text, it will be the number also will be like round numbers, or sometimes it is in a point. Okay, 1.2, some when you are entering the price or something in the boxes, that time it comes like 2 rupees 50 paisa. So these all comes different ways. Numbers also come in different ways, sometimes text. So these are called data types, text, numbers. Okay, so how can we do that and what is the use of that? Let's see, let's understand. Okay, so now simply you can understand, user want to enter the input, so what form or which type of input he will enter. So that based on that we have to think. So here comes first integer. Okay, the variable type comes integer. Okay, store a numeric value. Okay, it can store a numeric value whenever you want to take input from the user and the number form, like age, roll number, like these things. If you want to get the data, that time you have to use integer. Okay, right? Then comes string, then comes double, and then comes boolean. So these are the basic type of uh, data types which you can enter. Okay, then we have to declare a variable, then we have to set a variable. There is a method of setting variable. Let me take you to textbook page, then you will get clear idea of it. So here we are, how can we set the variables? Here it is given, we have to write the text like deem age as integer. So now age is a variable and it is as an integer. Okay, integer means it will store the numerical values. Now deem gender as a string. String means here you can enter the text as well as number, no problem. But if you want to do calculation, then use only integer. If number calculation, if you want to do, use integer. Only you want to type the numbers, that time you can use the string with the, because in string you can enter text as well as numbers. But you cannot do calculation with the string. Only with integer type of variable you can create. That's why here it is given age as integer and gender as string. String means you can enter data type text. Okay, so this is the way you can set the variables. But while declaring some variables, there are some certain rules you need to follow. Okay. Until and unless you won't follow these rules, your program won't get success and you won't get a desired result. First rule is variable name should not begin with a number or special character. Okay. It should not begin with number or any special character like star, asterisk, sign, and all. Variable name should not have any space and any special character. It should not have any space. It should be without space. Okay. So avoid the space when you are assigning the variable name. Variable name should not be exceed than 255 character. Okay. Keep it short. Generally, programmers use 8 character, 9 character, 10 characters only. Don't go to long variable names. Okay. And a reserved keyword of language must not be taken as a variable, like command, run. These are the reserved text for the system software that we should not use. Like for example, name also is a reserved thing. So whenever you want to take a variable with the name, so you have to add s name, means surname, or first name. Like this, you have to assign the name of variable. So these are the four basic rules of variables, right? Then the rest of the part, working with graphical control, how to work. Now we understand the what is graphical control: label, text box, control buttons, and all. Properties also we learn, and how to set data type and variable, that also we learn. So the basic things we have already covered. Now we are going to prepare the basic program working with graphic controls, that we will learn in next video. Watch this video properly, carefully, repeat and watch and try to understand. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.